Greetings and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. And you know who I am, Tawnya Love. So glad to join you guys all today. I had an amazing day, but it was just like whoo whoo, flowing around. And actually just got home from my bridal shower that a bunch of my soul sisters threw for me. So a big shout out to my soul sisters Sarah and to Leanne for hosting an awesome bridal shower. We had a lot of fun. And thank you to everybody who was able to make it, and those of you that weren't, that were there with in spirit. I still thank you for sending your love and support. So we're really excited. We're actually getting married next week. So my beloved and I. Oh wow, what was that, Amnon? Yeah, I love it. Yeah, on April 20th, we're actually gonna give our vows at Cannon Beach at the ocean. And because of that, I'm gonna just say this now to just give everyone a little heads up. Next Sunday, we won't be having the live show, but Amnon will be putting on a past show so that if you guys want to watch something from the past. Otherwise, go to go on YouTube and go under Tawnya Angel, and you can go follow us on there, and you can pick and choose all the beautiful many shows that are available for you from a year's worth of channeling the angels and connecting with spirits. So I'll miss you for 1 week, but I have a good excuse. I'm going to be marrying my beloved, so we're pretty excited. And I'll definitely post pictures and stuff on Facebook once we get them. And for friends and family that are tuning in, because my fiance and I are very spontaneous and just go with the flow people, and we really are drama free. We love simplicity, and that's why we're doing this kind of like eloping, sudden jumping to the ocean to get married, do our vows. But we're planning a reception for late summer, early fall of this year for friends and family, and we'll keep you guys all posted if you want to come and join us then. And then we're saving up for a honeymoon Hawaiian cruise next year. So that's kind of, we're asking people if they want to make a love offering just to send it to my PayPal, and it's going to go towards our honeymoon cruise. So we're pretty excited, blissfully happy. But basically, I wanted to say thanks again to Ian Gutowski for joining us last week, and hopefully you guys got to watch that live show with me interviewing Ian. He's a comedian, and he's bringing a lot of awareness to the community on mental health awareness. And, you know, he and I had shared pretty vulnerably about our own journeys with struggle at times. Like, he had been suicidal, and I had lost a dad to suicide and had also felt suicidal in my life. And I felt like that was such a beautiful show, and it's such an important thing for us to talk about, because sometimes when we're really overwhelmed and we're struggling with things, we're taught that, you know, it's weakness to show that vulnerability, and we have to be strong, and, you know, we can't let anybody know that we need help. And I feel it's actually the opposite of that. I didn't when I was 20. I actually really believed you don't show anybody what you're feeling. But kind of like the movie Frozen, conceal, don't feel. And I actually really feel the opposite is true, that it's so important for us to express how we really are feeling. And this week, I've had several clients contact me. I've observed people on Facebook. I've observed people in my movie, you know, around me that have really been struggling. And it's brought this whole topic for today, which Spirit spoke through me as the insanity of humanity. And basically, the insanity of humanity is this need to constantly be chasing something and getting to this place in the future. And I actually, this is why I write things down really quickly when spirit hits me with lightning, and inspires me, because then later I'll be like, how did that go? Like, it was so beautiful and profound. And so I'm actually gonna see if I can pull it up here real quick for you. But hold on just a sec. I had it saved, and then I go to open my phone and it's gone. Okay, so here it is. So this is how Spirit spoke it through me: is the insanity of humanity is to abandon the peace of this present moment, forever seeking the unknown of a future moment in hopes of salvation. And so that's really our topic for today is, you know, why are we doing that? Why do humans keep chasing the carrot in life? And that carrot could be a human, an infatuation, it could be a career goal, it could be the sense of title. Like, once I become the CEO, then I'll be satisfied, then I'll have enough. Or once I get $1 million, then I'll be enough. Or once I get my doctorate degree, then I'll be enough, then I'll be worthy. Um, and no matter what form that carrot takes, it's always dangling in front of us, and we're always chasing it, and we're always trying to get somewhere else. And one of the clients that called me this week, she was really struggling, and I felt so honored that she felt safe enough to really be authentic with me and just break down and cry and just be pissed and just really tell me what was inside of her. And afterwards, it was this like, like relief. And I feel like that is exactly why she was feeling so insane, was because she was holding all this emotion inside of herself, and she wasn't feeling safe to let it out. She wasn't feeling it was okay for her to tell anybody how she actually felt. And so she holds it and holds it. And what I've observed is there's some interesting things going on right now on the planet. The other night I had a dream, and I shared it on Facebook, of a very prophetic dream, and I didn't realize how prophetic it was at the time until I shared it, and then people brought me confirmation that this was actually going down. And like Yoda, I tune in and feel the disturbances in the force. And that night I dreamt that there was like this end of times dream, and there was a lot of destruction. There was a great eruption that happened on the planet. And I remember in the dream very vividly, as it was so detailed, like a movie. And I remember walking and saying, "We're in Montana, like we're somewhere in Montana." And when I woke up, I posted the dream, and I remember just there was like this symbolic energy of eruption and destruction. And then after that, there was these creatures that came out from the depths of the planet. It was very sci-fi, kind of like these, like if we had dinosaurs were hiding out at the core of the earth. And when the eruption happened, they started to surface. And in the dream, I observed how they only would take down and attack misaligned humans, like the humans that were really living out of alignment, and they were being destructive, and they were being hurtful and vengeful, and they were not having any reverence or honor or respect for themselves or anyone around them. And these were the ones that I saw in the dream get just gobbled up by this creature. And I felt it was a symbol of whether you're the creature that's consuming yourself with your own misalignment, or whether there is life situations that are coming in to gobble you up and energetically kind of spit you out because you're not coming into that alignment. I feel like it's very important that we start to listen. Amnon and I have been doing these shows for a year now. And if you think about it and you really look back over the past year, our consistent message has been about alignment, living with integrity, living authentically, coming from the heart. And so we've been here as messengers for about a year expressing this to humanity. And some of you are really listening, and you're really doing that work, and you're seeing great change and transformation. And maybe some of you have, kind of dabbled in it and you've come in. I kind of joke and say, when I see hummingbirds feeding at my kitchen window, and they come in and take a little sip and then they take off again, and then they take a little sip and they take off, and they're always going. And I feel symbolically that is the insanity of humanity, is also that energy where we want to constantly get a distraction, or just give me a little sip of that spiritual truth, Tawnya. Okay, back to my bars, back to my clubs, back to getting high with my friends, or whatever it is. And energetically, it takes a toll. And I was talking with one of my soul sisters today after my bridal shower, and she's really in a tough place right now. And she was just like, Tawnya, I just really need to shift some stuff, and I feel like I'm holding my breath. And I could feel her vibrationally. I was like, it's like you took a plunge underwater and you're holding your breath, just hoping something's going to change. But the only one who's going to change it is yourself. And once you realize that, you either deny the fact that you have the power, and so you drown yourself, and you do choose to do it to yourself. So some people consciously choose to drown and to go down, and others will realize suddenly when they're desperate for that breath, what the hell am I doing? I need to get out of here. And they pop to the surface. Big moment, big Little Mermaid moment, taking that deep breath out of the water. And then they float on their backs and they surrender. And for some souls, it's like they need to go through this ass kicking before they actually surrender, and they let spirit lift them and carry them where they need to be. And so today, that's really what we're going to focus on, is The insanity of humanity is exactly that energy where we ignore and deny our own power, we ignore our own authenticity, we silence ourselves. So the client I referred to that was calling me that was really in grief and tension and heaviness, it was a lot to do with her not expressing herself. So in the dream I had, there's this eruption with the earth, and that is symbolic of there's all this energy building in the earth's center in the core, and there needs to be a release. So the way I referenced this with her was imagine in Hawaii when there is a bubbling of lava, it's like this gentle bubbling and oozing of lava. This gentle release creates new land, it creates life, it creates newness, and it's gentle and it's persistent and consistent. And then there's the opposite where it's like, Mount St. Helens, we have that sudden boom eruption is going to happen, and a huge top of a mountain is thrown miles away. And, for thousands of miles, there's ash and people can't see, and the forests have poisoning, and a lot of death and destruction happens from that kind of a release. And so we see that on the planetary level. And in the dream, that's what I had in my dream, which that night, when I had posted it the next day, a friend of mine said that night they had actually had an earthquake in Montana, which is not very typical. And over the past week, they've had 2 earthquakes there. And so vibrationally, I was picking up on the energy going on in that part of the world. But it's also such a symbol for me today, seeing from the eyes of awareness of how the planet is very much reflecting this building of pressure, and it's mirroring to us the same thing that we're doing. And so I feel like what we need to get is that each of us needs to find a way to gently release our truth, to have a way to safely express it. Whether you come and talk to a healer like myself and you let your emotions out and you give yourself permission to feel, and you have someone there coaching you and mentoring you to help you heal it and learn the lesson from it and then clear it and release it from your vibration, that's one aspect. Or maybe you have a beloved or a best friend you can talk to. You need to speak to someone and you need to let it out. And I feel like a lot of humans that have struggled with suicide and feeling depression in essence is that living inauthentically. We're not being authentic. We're not speaking our truth. We're holding in our truth. We're swallowing back the truth, and it's painful. And I feel for myself in like 2012, when I had decided to leave a marriage of 20 years, and this was no subtle choice, it was a big deal. It was like this time came for me where it became too painful for me to swallow my truth, to hold back truth. It became too painful to hold my blossoming back. And I had to submit to it. I had to surrender. And I had to trust that the universe was going to take care of me and take care of all the details. And it's worked out amazing. Like, I am happier in my life than I've ever been before. But I say this to each of you because sometimes when I work with clients, they see me in the now. Okay, are we back?
We're back.
Okay, somehow it dropped us, but we're back. Um, let's see what I leave off
In the
on.
here and now.
Yes. So basically, when we're not being truthful, we're not letting our truth come out. It becomes really painful, and we start to suffer, and we don't live authentically, and we maybe don't have integrity. Because if we're not being authentic, that is the first strike in integrity is against ourselves. So if we're not living with integrity, this is pretty important to us, and it actually causes a lot of suffering. And that suffering is absolutely, it's not necessary, it's absolutely optional. But many of us feel like we have to suffer because I feel the insanity of humanity is that suffering is normal. that it's normal to feel like we're suffering. It's normal to feel panic. It's normal to feel like we're lacking in some way, like we're not good enough in some way. That's what we consider normal. And I feel it couldn't be further from the truth. That is not normal. That has been very conditioned and very much trained to be the way we live. And it's not at all our natural state. And our natural state is actually of ease, of grace, of trust, of faith, of joy. This is our natural state. And so, for some of us, as we're coming from this place where we've been so out of alignment for a long time, what will feel challenging for that soul is to actually step into that uncomfortable place, the uncomfortable place of newness. And that newness may be, wow, I'm actually being treated with honor, but I'm so used to people abusing me. So this feels really uncomfortable when this guy gives me all this nice attention. So let me sabotage this because this doesn't feel right. And then they'll sabotage that relationship and then go right back to dating, the bad boys that kick their asses and treat them shitty. And then they're like, okay, well, this is uncomfortable as well, but it's what I know. It's the uncomfortably comfortable. And I'll just hang out here because this is what I'm used to. And so, for all of us on this planet, if we want to break free of the insanity that humanity has been living in for lifetimes, we have to start living with authenticity. We have to have the courage to move in a new direction. And we need to start to be authentic with our own lives, because if we're not living authentically for ourselves, it's going to be pretty tricky to be happy and blissful for others and to be happy in our life situation. And so, one of the things that I found interesting this week, connected with the whole symbolicness of the dream, was in that dream, these creatures were only taking down the misaligned people. And that was very much a metaphor in the dream. And what I realized was, this is what we're doing to ourselves. And this is what we, in a sense, people are in the sphere of the end of times, like that it's got to happen. And so they're waiting for the world just to explode itself, and then they can like be satisfied with their predictions. But it's because they're really not living in the now and feeling empowered now. So back to that quote that Spirit spoke through me, is that when we're in that insanity, we are actually denying the presence of this moment. We are denying the beauty and the power that's showing up right here because we want to chase and get to some unknown destination. And again, to abandon the peace of this present moment, forever seeking the unknown of a future moment in hopes of salvation. That to me is the essence of what many of us have been taught, that we need to chase down something, then we'll be saved. Something will save us. What I know to be true is that that is complete bullshit. And that is something we've been so preached, it's been preached to us so long that we really still are kind of waiting for someone to come save us. But what I've found to be true is that we are waiting for ourselves. I watched this film that is a total mind twist of a film, but so truthful. Like, oh my God, so much of what was going on in that film I have experienced in my own life, connecting with angels and ascended ones. And it's called Interstellar. And if you're interested in watching it, I encourage you to. And it might be one of those films you watch a few times because it's pretty like, what? It's out of the box. But it's so amazing in how it's showing that the very ones they're waiting to save them are themselves, and that it's their own higher self. And there's this part of when people ask me about, Tawnya, how do I connect with angels and how do you know what angel it is? And some people will make up, I feel stories. I can just feel it when I'm around people where I'm like, that, I just think I can feel that's a story. And it's just passed down generation after generation. And okay, because this person wrote a book about this angel, then that must be true. What I encourage people to do is to go meditate and get to know them on your own level, like tune into them vibrationally now and ask them questions. And what I have been told when I've tuned in very deeply with Archangel Ariel, which I love, and this angel has helped me so much to get to where I'm at today. But when I was asking this angelic being, this higher consciousness, questions about the angels, what I was told and what she said to me is, I am the highest aspect of yourself. And this is what each of us needs to understand. We don't need to be calling out to some ethereal energy out there, hoping it's going to save us. What it is our own higher self becomes self-realized. We realize, our eyes open, oh my God, I'm freaking powerful. I can affect nature. I can affect, in dreams, I could actually call forth assistance and protect the planet. I could affect and help heal souls that are hurting. when I align with my higher self, that aspect of my highest self. When I'm not doing that, I feel like a victim, a martyr. I feel scared. I feel insecure. I feel like I'm on a planet that's just waiting to shake me off. And I'm frightened and I feel like I have no power. And that is what a lot of humans are comfortable feeling. They've been trained to feel that. You have been very much conditioned to feel that for lifetimes. It has been very strategically done because if we ask ourselves, why would any humans or any beings want to cause all of us to conform? Why would we want that? Why would like a darker energy wish to cause souls to forget themselves and to forget their power? What do you think, Amnon? Why do you think?
Why do I think, or what do I think?
What do you think about that? Like, why do you feel there could be a darker energy, a low vibrational energy that would wish to control humans, to cause them to feel they had no power, to cause them to feel that you have to submit and just go along with the system and never question it? Why would we, like, why would there be an agenda that would wish to cause humans to feel this way?
That's the dark side.
I know, but why do you feel they're doing it? What's your gut feeling on the reason for it?
Just they like to mess with us. They're getting something out of negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just those. I mean, there are a lot of people that are like that too.
Yes, the ones that align with the darkness instead of the
Well,
light.
I mean, they may not be aligned with the darkness, but they're still negative, and
Yes.
they
Well, that's
don't
what I mean by
see.
aligning. They're more leaning towards it than alignment.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're aligned. Period.
Exactly. That yes. And I guess if you could say align with the darkness, that could be like counter aligned to alignment. But yes, and one of the main reasons I feel that happens is because if I could break you down as a soul and cause you to doubt yourself, forget who you are, forget your power, tell you not to question authority, to only listen to me, this is very strategically done because this is a great way to control humans.
Sounds
It
like
is
our
an amazing way to control you, right?
sounds like our government. Almost. I mean,
Boom. Yeah. And it sounds a lot like a lot of the misaligned religions, a lot of public education, healthcare systems, all
hmm
these systems that tell you you couldn't possibly know what's best for you. So let us tell you what that is and do this, this, and this because we say, and follow these rules and stay in these boxes, and everything will be okay. And if you don't, this will be your consequence and you will be in trouble. And so all of this is very strategically done, even in the education system with children, very young, taught to ignore what your soul mission is, ignore what you love, what your joy and bliss is, and do what we say, memorize what we say. We're going to break you down. We're going to cause you to feel heavy. When you go into college, now we got years more of that so that we can really condition you to not question, but just do what we say. And we watch how those souls get heavier and heavier and heavier, and they get more depressed and they suffer. And it's because you're going completely in the wrong direction of aligning with your actual soul's highest well being. And that alignment, which is you and source connecting and knowing yourself. And that's what I feel like the insanity of humanity is, that this is everywhere and that we have to be so mindful that we don't go and just follow blindly and just jump in and do what we're told when it doesn't feel right. Whether it's your best friend tells you to do something that doesn't feel right, like, hey, you should go steal that makeup. Like, I'm sure teenagers go through this and then they're like, oh, I don't want to be the nerd. I don't want to be the lame friend. So, okay, I'll go steal the makeup. And then there's a consequence. And like, this goes on for the rest of your journey. There's that peer pressure to go against self, to go against inner knowing and inner alignment, to satisfy the needs of those around you that really only wish to control you, and they don't really care for your highest good or your well-being. Make sense? He thinks it makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to take a pause, Amnon. Is anybody writing in? Because I talked for like 26 minutes straight. Woo! Are you there?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know I was potted down.
That's
Um,
okay. Is anybody writing in or anything?
Cindy's listening, and Cherokee was here, and I don't know if he or she dropped out.
Okay. Well, if
Um,
any of you want to ask a question or you want to share a comment, maybe if there's something you're going through personally where you feel like you have been struggling and you feel like, how can I do this better? And you want to reach out, I'm giving you the invitation. You can
Let's go.
also
Let's go, Cindy. Come on. You have a
yeah,
question?
give us a question or a comment. And if anybody calls in, I will do a reading today. 919-518-9773. So if you guys want to call in. Um, so anyway, if she chimes in or anybody does, just let me know, okay?
Of course.
Of course. So anyway, I had back to this whole insanity thing. It was really cool because I'm starting these yoga teacher trainings that I do for 3 months. I do a 3 month mentorship, and I have one starting at the end of the month, and then I started one at the beginning of the month on a different day. And one of the clients that I work for on the Friday yoga training, he is a doctor, and he's had all this education, lots of formal education, lots of certificates, lots of achievements, and he's done a lot in his life as far as what society, excuse me, I have hiccups, as far as what society would say is successful. And he met with me in yoga, and we're sitting there on the mat, very authentic and humble and just present. And what he felt so drawn to work with me for is he said he could just feel that presence in me and that alignment and that understanding of what the essence of yoga really is about, and a moving meditation. And this is what he's all about. Is he now works for a healthcare organization, and he helps with like a mindful movement class, and he's helping people with anxiety and depression to heal and to get better from meditation, and now he wants to teach them yoga. And so we're sitting there on the mat, and he just shares with me how all this time in his life, he's done all these things and chased this carrot, is what I call it. But he's chased the carrot to achieve something, to get to this destination to where then he'd be worthy enough, he'd be good enough. And he realized, like, after all these years, he's like in his 50s now, that it was all complete bullshit and that it was exhausting. And by the end of it, where he's at in his life now, he said he reached a point where he just felt exhausted. He felt frustration, anxiety, depression, all this stuff hit him. But what's beautiful is his mother had passed away. And when his mother passed away, it kind of cracked him open, which is sometimes the beauty of when we not, I don't even really want to say lose another, because it's not really loss, but when a soul leaves their body and we go through this experience as a human, as connected to loss, it can really cause us to seek deeper truth and to reach ourselves out more, to connect with source, to open from the heart and really surrender to truth, instead of just chasing and being totally distracted in our life situation. And so he was sharing with me how he'd gone through all this stuff and it was just complete BS. And now, he's living a simpler life. He's helping empower people. He feels like he really genuinely cares about people, and he just feels so much happier. And when we were sitting there, I would just share with him my observation and how the angels would express things through me. And there'd be times where he'd be listening to me and be like, okay, like that sounds really good. And he's like, but you're in a place I'm not at yet, Tawnya. And he's like, but I trust you and it feels good. It feels truthful, but I'm not quite understanding that level yet. Like he's still processing that. But he said that just the sense of presence he felt and the sense of connection, that is where he knew there was some authenticity here and there was some deep truth here. And a lot of what he's been chasing was not authentic at all. It was, I kind of look at some corporations where they'll hire, and I've worked in jobs where all they care about is what's on the paper. On that resume, what's on that paper, that is what matters. They could meet you, connect with you, you're so qualified, you're so connected, and sorry though, you don't really have all that stuff on the paper that we need, so we can't really show you honor. And then at the same time, they could get someone that has all those things on the paper come in, no presence, no compassion, no connection. Okay, let's hire them. Complete disregard to the now, complete disregard for their presence or their connection. And what I feel, that is completely insane. And that is the world we live in, is this old structure. It's the world we've lived in. I feel what's shaking is that we are at this place, this like important place, according to my dream, where if we choose to bring harmony and balance to this planet and to ourselves, it is becoming quite vital and urgent that we step into alignment and that we live with authenticity. and that we live with integrity, and that we live with connection, because what every single one of you are seeking is that connection. It is not the bank account being full. It is not having the biggest house. It is not having the sports car. It's not having that, degree on your wall. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and go chase those things and get them. And it's not bad getting these things, because if you have a nice car, a nice house, awesome. But if you think that that identifies who you are, if that gives you a sense of self, that's where you're in trouble, because these things can change and be taken, they can be altered, and then the ego is just terrified, and it is just like a huge breakdown for the ego when that happens. And so I feel if we can start to realize that sticking to that aligned path is where it's all at. Like when I talk to my clients that I've seen them go off, so I think of the aligned path as like this straight and narrow path. I mean, it's not necessarily straight, but it's this narrow, consistent, winding path. And it is alignment. It's authentic. It's compassion. It's gentleness. It's patience. It's consistency. We show up. Mindfulness, presence. That is it. But when we're on that path and we're so conditioned to want instant gratification, quick fix, put a Band-Aid on me, give me a distraction, we shoot off to the side. And I've noticed the other day, I was just observing, and I was like, interesting, like this new restaurant opened. It's like a tequila bar, and they just basically get people tore up drunk, and it's always packed. This lady's like, oh, that place is always packed since it opened. And then you see like a strip club, and it's this parking lot's full. And then you drive and you see like the bars, and they're just full. You see there's no problem getting people to fill up a stadium and to, cheer for people being violent against each other, and like, we're going to kick your ass, and like, we're the best and you suck, and this whole ego energy. We have no problems filling up these stadiums. But then I look and I see, like people showing up for yoga consistently or meditation. And it's like trickling in, trickling in. And many, they'll come in, like I said, like a hummingbird, they'll take a drink of spiritual wisdom and truth. Like, oh, that sounds so good. Okay, I'll see you later. Pew, they're gone. They're going to go get high. They're going to go get drunk. They're going to go, distract themselves with the next relationship that they completely throw themselves into and completely disregard their own alignment. And I say this with compassion because I see it so much. I don't judge any of you, but I just see that it's not serving any of you. And that if we could each see this for ourselves and be, awake about it and own it, we could step back into that alignment and we could stay there more consistently. And that consistency is the key. I feel so much like as we honor the process of life, there's so much beauty to be found in the patience and the process of something. And it's something like I feel the younger generation right now are struggling to see that because they can get so many things instantly. Go on Google. I'm going to search the answers. Boom, got it. Okay, I want to order something. I'm going to go on Amazon. Boom, got it. It's on the way. I want to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Going online. Boom, they're on their way. And so we have this expectation that everything we want, we should just be able to order it and it's on its way. And some of us are very addicted by this. And so we get in this instant fix, instant gratification energy where we're always chasing and trying to distract ourselves. But if we can come back to that place and be still and present and patient, and we don't try to force our way, we allow the universe to support us. It's like last week when I mentioned the movie 7 Years in Tibet.
I'm gonna interrupt you. Right, I'm waiting
Okay.
for a minute to get in a word edgewise, and you're going from one to
It's
the
okay.
other, one to the other, one to the other. I can't. All right.
What is it?
Cindy's saying, I feel like I'm becoming more aligned, but
Yay.
struggling with the guilt of leaving family and friends behind. I want to keep
Okay.
the right people around me, but I'm trying to work through that guilt and sadness and fear of judgment about my beliefs and new life coming out of the spiritual closet, quote unquote.
Nice. Okay. Well, on that one, that is an amazing and important initiation that every one of us has to pass. And so, first of all, you're not alone. I had to go through it. Everyone's going to have to go through it in their own way. And so, if you can understand and honor that this is a part of the process and that it is absolutely vital that you master this, then you can not get in a scared frenzy about it, but you can be patient, gentle, and present as you move through this process. It will be so much better than being in resistance to the process or denying it or shaming yourself, feeling guilt about it. Let that all go. I feel guilt is one of the nastiest energies the ego brings to seduce you back into heaviness. So if you can shake off guilt, that's the first step, is to have the awareness of, wow, where's this guilt come from? Why do I feel guilty to be authentic? Why do I feel guilty to choose where I really feel is vibrationally best for me? Why would I feel guilt about that? Let's tune into that. Wow, I've been trained to be that way. I've been trained to feel guilty and shamed and to feel bad if I don't do something from obligation. So when we can see that, we can be like, oh, interesting. Look how powerful that energy is. Look how powerful guilt and obligation can be on a human life. Step one, there's your lesson. Jot that in your journal. And then observe how, if you're peaceful and present about it, you don't really need to make anything happen. The way I look at my life is I don't have to make my grandma understand me. I don't have to make my mom understand me. I don't have to make my sisters see who I am completely. All I have to do is be authentically me. And if these people that started in my movie, because I look at it as like a life situation, evolution at a soul level, there are soul contracts we have with souls. So we come in, boop, and we choose this family, and there's energies and experiences that we chose soul contracts to go through with these souls. That does not mean that we're going to go through that with them forever. And this is something to really understand. Source tells me we are not to be attached to role and title. What we're taught in society is to absolutely be attached to role and title. So if we listen to the wisdom of Source, this is honesty and this is alignment. This means we attach to nothing. We love and we send support to everyone, including ourselves, while attaching to nothing. And this is the liberation that can be available. And this is true freedom and true evolution and expansion. But when we attach ourselves to what we've been taught, which is when we're at grandma's house, you just be quiet and just do what grandma says. Like, don't you dare, challenge grandma, because that's just not right. That's out of alignment in this house. Like, basically, you just hold all that truth inside until you want to throw up, or you just stuff some more fried chicken in your mouth and you get a little bit heavier with the burden of never speaking your truth. And this is completely normal in society. Go to almost any family gathering, you can energetically tune into how many of those people are not speaking their truth, but they're chowing down together and they're just holding it all inside energetically. And this is so insane. And this is what causes sickness and disease and all kinds of problems. But what's saddest to me, and what I saw in my own family, is the sad part is that there's no authenticity. And what's interesting to me is that if I can break free and not attach to these people, I can love them as they are and realize they are exactly where they need to be in their journey of evolution, and I'm exactly where I am needing to be in my journey of evolution. Then if they choose to come and share sacred space with me, or I choose to share it with them, great. But if they cannot handle my speaking truth and I get shamed for it, or I made to feel bad for who I am, why do I need to hang out there? And this is something that will cause a soul, when it's clinging and attaching, it will be very uncomfortable. It'll be very painful. Like, why doesn't my sister ever treat me with respect? Why doesn't my mom ever see me and notice who I am? And so these souls will cling and just drain so much energy trying to get that approval, try to get that appreciation. Like in Avatar, when he says, I see you, this is what we all want. We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. And so when we feel we're not seen or heard, it can create a lot of different energies that will play out. These inner child woundedness, these inner child wounds will start to act out. But if we can detach from all of that, and we can be authentic and we can be courageous, and this means that we know we've got support. Like, I know I have so much angelic support and so much spiritual support behind the scenes. And now in my life, I feel like I also have that in my reality in this physical world. But there was a time when Tawnya was leaving her old movie, and a lot of the people I started my journey with on this planet are not around anymore. They're still on the planet, but they're not here with me. They couldn't handle my power. They couldn't handle my truth. They couldn't handle my authenticity. And I refused to be abused by them. I refused to be shamed by them. I refused to swallow my truth another day. And so this is where it gets to this place where souls have to be very honest with each other. And the ones that can't handle the truth bringer, they will shame and shut the door. And if you don't take it personally, you realize Thank you for the lessons. Our time is done, and I'm expanding. So I don't need to cling to you. I don't need to have you still love me, or even what's the saddest part is, to me, from my observation, family experiences like that, it was never love. And so many families have no clue what love really is. They do not show love. They are controlling, they're manipulative, they're judgmental, and they say it's because they love you. And I feel it's the opposite of that. I feel true love. People can feel, I have soul family that I have met, and instantly we feel a connection because we see each other. And like today at my bridal shower, these women said the most beautiful things of how they feel about being in my presence that I have never heard from a lot of my family. And this is because these are soul family. These are souls that are like, I see you, Tawnya, and I love you, and I love how you shine, and I love how authentic you are, and how courageous you are. And when I feel doubt in myself and I feel afraid, you give me hope and strength and courage to be this for myself. And this is what I feel true family is. And this is what love is. And sometimes it's when we say the truth to someone and it's something that scares them because it challenges their ego, but it's truth. And that truth may cut like a sword. Like if we've seen a soul living out of alignment, and I work with clients, they'll come and they, get these messages of deep truth, and they're like, oh my God, it can feel painful at first to see that deep truth of how much they've been hurting themselves and betraying themselves. But once they get through that, I feel that is actually love, and they see and trust and have respect for me as a healer and as a mentor because they know Tanya's going to tell me the truth. She's not going to withhold something. She's going to speak that truth. And I feel these are the people that we're going to thrive with if we have a mentor this way, or if I have clients and friends that are this way and family. I feel supported and loved as well. And if we're surrounding ourselves with people who we call family, but they don't really honor us or see us or show us honor and respect, and they shame us and guilt trip us, that is actually enslavement. And some of the worst enslavement on the planet is happening in families today. And so if we can kind of look at it, I see it very gangster mentality. Like I look at gangsters, like the gangster mentality, or like Ian said last week on the show, he called it the tribal mentality. And I feel when it's a misaligned tribe or a misaligned gang, there's usually a gang leader or a tribal leader, and they silence the rest of them unless they give them permission to speak, and that's only if they allow it. But if it's aligned and it's an aligned family unit, then all souls have the right to speak truth, and they welcome the truth, and they know that the truth will help the tribes really thrive. Rather than when we silence and shame each other, we actually shut our evolution down, and we actually cause destruction to our own cells in our body. Like when I say all the family members are chowing down on food, but no one's speaking truth, they're hurting their own body. Rather than speak truth, we stuff our emotions with food. If we can start to speak truth more, we don't need to do that. And this will change the cells of our body, and this will change the dynamic of our family. Our family units will thrive because we'll show up for each other, we'll see each other, we'll honor what we see, and we'll speak truth. And this is what the planet needs to do, because humanity, if we look at the global tribe, this is like unity consciousness. Unity consciousness, it is time for us to come together and to wake up and self-realize, because when we can do that, we can show up for each other. We can see each other no matter what our spacesuit looks like. If I'm black, white, brown, if I'm a woman, a man, if I'm tall, short, thin, heavy, it doesn't matter. But we show up and we see each other and we honor the soul of each other. And we know that we're all connected. So if this planet, if all the bees die, for example, we're fucked, because the bees are very much helping us to survive by pollinating everything. And this is something like, if people want to watch the movie Avatar again and really pay attention to how important that film is, what it's saying, that it is an absolute possibility that humans could overconsume a planet and overtake, to where that planet will have to shake them off or they will destroy it. And so I feel we're getting a lot of messages right now, like what I'm getting in my dreams is that Earth Mother is talking back. She's rumbling and churning because she's giving warnings. We're seeing droughts and weather changes and things that's always gone on the planet, but it's gone on in very strategic ways to bring balance back. And so I feel if we can see how we can change that in ourselves, like Cindy doing that change for herself and becoming empowered and her changing and coming into a more authentic space, most freaking important thing she could do in her life. And the family that are meant to be there with her and support her on that journey will show up. And if they're not the ones you were born to, keep rising anyways. Because sometimes, in my case, not many of those family members rose with me. So if I waited for them all to get it, I stay heavy. That is not what the planet needs. Humanity needs more of us to wake up and to come into our alignment and to lead with courage and power and walk our spiritual truth. This is all that you need to do with your life. If you keep it simple, we all, put so much pressure from the ego is like, what do I have to be when I grow up? And, oh, what am I supposed to do with my life? And, what would make me successful? The most important thing you each have to do, be authentic. Simple as that.
And,
Be authentic. Live authentically. That's it.
and Cindy's saying, that was the perfect message for me. I laughed, cried, and received much insight. Thank you.
Awesome. I love it when I can give them the laugh, cry energy. Oh, yeah. It's awesome. So I'm glad. And I really hope that me sharing my side helps you to realize that you could get to a place one day where you are so empowered. Like I'm speaking on this internet show. Who knows how many people will see this? Technology can be fascinating, and this could travel. You guys could all get on there and share this video, and then someone else shares that video and they share it, and it goes out and it just comes, becomes viral where everyone gets to hear this message. And look at the courage. There was a time where I was terrified to talk out loud in a circle. Like we're in a group with like other shaman women. And I've been to so many circles that were with misaligned leaders that really kind of energetically shut people down. Like, don't you dare show up and show me that you're smarter than me because you're supposed to come here and get the answers from me. And what's interesting is that is the opposite of what I feel like we're here for. And when people come to my circles and we do our gatherings, our soul sister circles, our empowering empath mentorships, that's a big struggle for them in the beginning. And I know why, because they've been so conditioned to just shut up and just do what they're told. And in the circles, when they show up with me and I see everyone being silent, when there's something out of alignment being done, I will meet with them the next time, be like, what's going on? What was going on last week, guys? And they're like, what? And I'm like, why didn't anyone speak? I could feel every one of you feeling something. You wanted to speak. Oh, I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. I didn't want to, take your lead or anything, Tawnya, like it's your thing. I'm like, no, this is what we need to change. We need to see each other showing up as leaders, showing up together. Like that we all have this potential to be aligned and wise and have leadership. And in my circles, that's the way I see the women. I see them as leaders, potential leaders. They may not see that yet, but it's there. And if we start showing up for each other and honoring each other like that, we'll help each other blossom. And if we show up and we just want to have a bunch of followers, like if I just wanted to have a bunch of minions that would just obey my command, I could do that. I see people doing it all around me, like all around me, whether, different realms, whether it's business or the healing community, or I see it in religion, the government. I mean, the education systems, it's everywhere. There's a potential to become a follower or to be the leader of minions anywhere you go. But there's no satisfaction in it. I watch the people leading in that way. They're never at ease. They always seem anxious. The people who go around them never seem totally at ease or empowered because they always kind of feel something's off and like they just feel like weak and that they're vulnerable, but they can't quite put their finger on why they feel weak. And this is what we need to shift, because if we want to help this planet shift in a better direction, it's going to start with us. It's going to start with each one of us taking accountability and ownership over our own life. And that is the recipe for joy. If you want to be happy, it is not about having a mansion or having the greatest fashion or the fastest car. That is all complete bullshit. It is about having authenticity. It's about knowing that when you show up in your day, that you are 100% you, and you're being honest, you're being aware, awake, you're connecting with life. When I see people, like I say, chasing the carrot, that's that thing where like you're walking down the hall and there's people I see that they're like, oh, hey, Tawnya, how you doing? And I go to respond and they're gone. They don't really care. They just wanted to say it to be polite. And then there's, the way I truly live. This is where people see Tanya's flow, and sometimes they get frustrated with Earth time because they're like, oh, you need to be here at this certain time, and we got this certain agenda, and we got to stick to the plan. But then I live my life where if I'm walking and someone connects, hey, how are you doing? Oh, how are you doing? And I stop, look them in the eye, connect, make that connection, care about what they have to say, really listen to it, honor them. I have clients, Tawnya, do you have a minute to chat? Absolutely. And I'm not charging for all that. This is connection time. And there are times when they need just to call and say, hey, I'm kind of struggling in this way. Do you have a little advice or a minute where I can just express myself and just be authentic? And I love that because I feel like that is what helps them heal, and it's what helps them feel loved and connected. And it also is a gift to me. When I am assisting others, I thrive and I feel fulfilled. And when they are getting that assistance, they are thriving and they're fulfilled. And so it's a very there's this beautiful synergy there that we both help each other's lives be better. And that's from connection. It's from being authentic. It's not from, having the nicest car and the nicest outfit and being a complete bitch to somebody. Like, I've watched people just be so hateful. And the sad thing is, from my observation, when I see that, I just feel like, what a missed opportunity for love. Like, what a sad human that is just walking around, just, lashing out because they're so insecure. And if we can remember that, we won't take this stuff personally when a person strikes out at us or lashes out. It isn't about us, it's about them. Like, they are damn insecure. They are struggling. They're probably flailing around because they've lost their connection with Source, and they're trying to fulfill that sense of connection through things. And that is insanity. It's never going to help us feel better. So I'm going to take a pause and see if anybody else has a question or a comment.
Nope.
Well, why not? I'm just kidding.
I guess everybody is aligned.
All right, that's awesome. That is so good. I'm excited to know that day when it comes. Let's all hold that vision. So I was going to read you guys a couple cards I drew for today, and I feel like they're perfect for what we're talking about. One of them is the High Priestess Archangel Haniel, and this is an angel I work with all the time, like the one that helps me with my intuition, helps me to really hear the messages when I'm doing auric clearings. And, I work with clients in person or remotely. So sometimes when I'm working with a client far away and they've never met me and I've got all these messages that are coming through, they're kind of like, what the hell's happening? Like, how do you even know that stuff? And what I help them understand is it's not that I, Tawnya, know it. It's that I am channeling and opening up to receive messages for that person from their angels. And that's really how it works. And so it doesn't matter if they're right in front of me or if they're thousands of miles away. It works just as powerfully. And the reason I love teaching my mentorships and my empowering classes and why I'm expanding and ready to travel and do retreats is that we all have the ability to do this. We all can tune in, but we have to practice. We have to cultivate this strength. Just like you'd have to work out consistently to feel strong in your body, you have to cultivate the strength with spiritual empowerment as well. You have to work out your psychic muscles. You have to work it out, and you have to practice consistently listening and meditating. And what I love is practicing deep listening. And that's what meditation is for me. It's not, there's different types of meditation. When I teach meditation classes, we will do conscious creation, where we will go in and we'll consciously create something, 555. Or there's times where we will just practice deep listening and deep receptivity. And this can be so healing for the body, for the mind, for the soul. When you just feel you've done too much, you're tired, you're overworked, go and just breathe and quiet your mind, put an eye pillow over your eyes, and practice deep listening. And do that every day. Walk in nature and practice deep listening. Really connect with the trees, with the birds, the singing, the wind. Like, don't just be out there on your phones all the time or talking or chattering and on your computers. And all this connection that we're doing with technology can be a tool and a helpful tool. But if we're doing it too much, it can disconnect us from the most important connection we have, which is with our source. So Haniel's the one that came up today. She's saying to listen to your intuition, have patience. There's that word again. Consider carefully what you want before acting. That's pretty wise. So it says you drew this card because the answers that you seek lie in your feelings and emotions. Trust your intuition and the power of your natural psychic abilities. Pay attention to your dreams and any intuitive messages that you receive as they are accurately guiding you, which was so spot on for me with the dream I had. It turned out to be true. And people were like, wow, Tawnya, like that actually is happening. So pay attention to your dreams, guys. Like a lot of us, when I post my dreams on Facebook, I notice a lot of people will chime in and they're like, I'm having dreams like that too. Whoa, weird. And we start to connect and realize the universe is talking and it's talking to many of us. It's just there's only maybe, a scattered few that are totally deep listening. But what if we all started to deeply listen? This would change everything. And that's it. It's not that hard of a thing to just listen. There's no need to race into action right now. However, instead take time to gain more insight, since things may not be as they appear on the surface. Withdraw from the noise of daily life and ask for guidance from your angels and guides. Everything that you need to know will be revealed to you in the perfect time, as I call divine time. Just have patience. Additional meaning: silence is golden. Study spiritual topics. Keep your dreams and desires to yourself. Learn from emotional situations. Archangel Haniel is a goddess-like angel of grace and feminine spirituality, such as intuition and clairvoyance. Like a true high priestess, Haniel will act as your spiritual teacher and advisor to help aid you in discerning which feelings and ideas to follow as trustworthy guidance. Call upon Haniel to increase your clarity in connecting with the angels. So I feel she's coming up to help us all. Like any of you listening today that are curious about angels, maybe you're not experientially sure they're real or exist. Don't take my word for it. I encourage you to go and test that theory and make it a true reality. And that's, we were talking today about like when I had a trip with my soul sisters to Hawaii, there's like a level of what I can teach of alignment in a workshop and it's theory as far as to them, because I'm teaching my experience and I'm expressing it. But when we were there experiencing together, they were learning so much, like, oh my God, this is what we were talking about. And that's what's so awesome. And this is why I want to do retreats where we go away for like 3 days to a week with each other and we deeply get into that deep listening together. It can be so transformational because you're going to be in this place where you're kind of distancing yourself from your old movie and you're deeply connecting and listening and having this amazing transformation happen by experiencing it. So if you guys are kind of curious about angels, you're not sure about them, maybe some of you think I'm totally full of crap. You're like, that girl is cray cray. That's okay. You can think whatever you want. But what I encourage you to do is to test it out and to ask for confirmation. Ask your angels, your guides to bring you confirmation, to bring you experience that you will know in every cell of your being to be true, and start listening and paying attention, because for some of you, it's not that the universe isn't bringing you the miracles or bringing you the magic or the confirmation. It's just you're not listening. It might come in and you're just like, oh, that was weird. What a random weird thing. Isn't that a coincidence? And then you go back to your busy life. And no, it's not random, weird, or crazy or a coincidence. That's synchronicity happening. And synchronicity, when it's paid attention to and when you honor it, can lead to more synchronicity. And it becomes this really magical, flowy experience that is what life's all about, is that synchronistic flow. It's all about that and the joy. And that's the opposite of the insanity of humanity, which is to chase and to go and control. One last quote that I was going to make a note of before, connected with the movie 7 Years in Tibet, was where the Tibetan woman said to Brad Pitt when he's trying to show off and his ego's kind of owning the show, and she tells him so gently, so truthfully, and so powerfully that in his culture, they salute and they praise the man who pushes his way to the top. And in her culture in Tibet, they salute and they praise the man who abandons his ego. And I feel like at the essence of releasing the insanity, it is that. It is exactly what she summed up in one little phrase, is abandoning the ego. You no longer chase the seduction of the carrot. You no longer tell yourself or convince yourself or try to believe that you need to be anywhere other than where you are right now, which is present. It doesn't mean you won't go on a vacation or you may not move. It means that wherever you are, you will be right there, 100% present, and you will make those choices with that presence and that clarity with that complete authenticity and integrity. That is going to do such a shift. It's going to make such a shift on our planet when we all start to do this, compared to when we just chase things blindly and egotistically, and we just hope that they'll someday fill that void and that hole that's inside of us, because nothing will fill that except for you healing the wounds that are there that tell you you're not enough. So that's the thing I do. If any of you want to work with me as a healer, contact me. I would love to assist you remotely or in person. And I only have a few weeks left, but for the month of April, I have spring clearing specials for the auric clearings, in person or remote. Buy 2 sessions, you pay full price for your first, and your second session's half price. And that is an amazing deal. So those who have worked with me know that's an amazing deal. And I told people they can use it throughout the year. So if you get 2, if you want to buy 4 sessions, you can use them for the rest of the year, or you could gift them to a friend. If you have a lover that's open to coming or working with me that really needs to heal some stuff, really think of the gift of that. Rather than go buy them another tool or distraction or go get them drunk for their birthday, really think about how healing and getting them aligned and in their alignment and their power would help both of you. And of course, that's if they're open to it, because we can't make people, it's like you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink kind of thing. It's so true. So if you think of that as a gift idea, you want to nudge your mom or your sister to come see me, I offer that special to anyone who's ready. And what else was I going to say before we sign off? For those local, I have yoga teacher training starting, and those remotely, I can take a couple distance clients through Skype. I still got to figure out how to get all this whole webinar stuff going. So if any of you know that, contact me if you want to help me. But for now, I can take a couple clients on my computer through Skype. So if any of you are interested in joining me for the teacher training, it's the last Sunday of April, and it goes for 3 months. We meet once a week, every single Sunday. And then if you're interested in the Empowering Empath mentorship, that's 6 months long, and it starts this coming Saturday. And we just meet for a couple hours the third Saturday of every month for 6 months. And it's amazing. And it's such an empowering place for empaths to come, because some of you are struggling just because you feel like you're going through this all by yourself. And so these workshops are great of me sharing wisdom and tools, but also for you guys connecting with each other and realizing you're not alone and you're not crazy. You just maybe need to feel supported. And as you feel supported, you can really thrive. So if you're feeling called to do any of those things with me, reach out as soon as possible. And as far as the specials, they end the last day of April. So I would seize the moment on that. If you're feeling it, go for it and don't procrastinate. And like I said, next week we will not have a live show. We'll just play an old show. And you guys can go and follow me on YouTube and watch any of them anytime on Tawnya Angel. But I look forward to connecting with you guys again a week later after my wedding. So next week on April 20th, visualize it being gorgeous and sunny and wind-free at Cannon Beach so that we can have a really beautiful ceremony. And thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Love you so much, and go out there and shine and be authentic. That is all the universe is asking for. Mwah! Namaste.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.